Good morning and welcome to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I'm your pharmacist, Paul White. We're glad you joined us. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Altman Health Systems, Studio Arts and Glass, and Genier Appraisals and Liquidations, and they're having a tag sale today. Today, Brad and I are broadcasting from our administrative offices. Today, our show is all about you. We have an exciting new program to share with our listeners today, as well as responses to questions our friends and neighbors posted on our Facebook pages.
Okay, it's hard to consider a top 10 list and not think of David Letterman. Did you know his first top 10 list was on his show in September 18th, 1985? And that very first top 10 list was the top 10 words that almost rhyme with peas. There is, of course, a top 10 list of David Letterman's best top 10 lists, and it includes favorites like the top 10 ways the country would be different if Britney Spears was president. Today, we're going to talk about our top 10 tips for each of you to stay healthy, to live your best life, and to accomplish all those things that bring you joy. I'm not sure our list would ever have made David Letterman's show, but I think we can help you save money and be healthy. We'd like to remind our listeners that you can always get our program on our podcast. Just look for Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy in your favorite podcast app, and please subscribe.
Okay, Brad, I think our number one tip is know your pharmacist and use a local pharmacy. Can you tell our listeners why we feel that is so important?
I think one of the assets we have of being a local pharmacy and for me to be a pharmacist is to be a health resource to patients. Pharmacists technically and traditionally are the most accessible healthcare profession. You know, you don't really have to make an appointment to call or stop in the pharmacy to ask a question about a need that you have or a medication you're taking or a recommendation for a cough or cold symptom you're trying to treat. And you know, I feel like we build that bond of trust with patients as we get to know them and care for them and work on their healthcare situation. It's always an advantage for us in a community pharmacy to be able to look at a patient's medication profile and be able to know their local provider that they're working with for their medication therapies, and to basically work in that, what we call that triad of responsibility. You know, we work with the patient, we work with the prescriber or the physician or nurse practitioner and the pharmacy, and the three of us work together to take care of the patient. It's easier for you to be able to access healthcare in your community than it is to pick up the phone or talk to someone who's faceless and nameless, maybe in some call center across the country. And one of the things we pride ourselves is being able to let you walk in the pharmacy and be able to take care of you. It helps us if you are a patient of the pharmacy, because without knowing your whole medication background, sometimes it can be a challenge to get to the root of those problems, but we'll do the best we can to help you with your situation. But having a relationship with your local pharmacist can be as advantageous as having a relationship with a prescriber that knows you and your health and what obstacles you're trying to overcome.
Another tip, okay? Your copay may be more money than paying cash for your prescription. Ask your pharmacist for the lowest price on your prescription.
We have been overwhelmed, maybe lately is the right word for it, with patients trying to figure out how to save money on their prescriptions. You know, healthcare has been changing so rapidly. I think more and more patients are getting frustrated with access to care. And even if they have insurance, they're always on the lookout for a better price, a better solution, or a better way to save money. So at the Medicine Center Pharmacy, we've responded. We've recently introduced a new program that we are trying to help patients cut through the slack and make it simpler to access more cost-effective medications. So we have our new Health Matters Drug Savings Program, named after this program, and it is a program that has over 170 medications to start. And these medications are priced for generic medications at a 90-day supply to try to help you save money. It is your patient right to ask us at the pharmacy if we can help you save money on your prescriptions. You might not realize it, but your insurance company, if you have one, sometimes puts restrictions on what we can tell you. It sounds a little ridiculous, but if you ask us if we can save you money on your prescription, all bets are off, and we can answer any questions you have, and we can help you find a better solution. So, one of the things we've noticed in the pharmacy in the last 3 to 6 months is that a lot of patients that have a high deductible plan. And what a high deductible plan is a plan that usually requires you to pay more of your healthcare expenses than you would if you had a lower deductible plan. Maybe it means that your out-of-pocket deductibles $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 before a majority of your healthcare expenses are covered. And a lot of patients come into the pharmacy and have these higher deductible plans and have to pay 100% of their medication expense. And these are the type of patients that may benefit from our new Health Matters Drug Savings Plan. I had a patient just this week who came in and had a prescription for a common diabetes medication, and the medication copay for a 30-day supply was $7.37. The patient astutely asked us if there was any other way to save money on her prescription because she was frustrated because it was kind of cutting into her daily budget. And happily, that particular medication is on our new Health Matters Drug Savings Program, and she can get a 90-day supply if she paid cash out of pocket for $10. So instead of paying almost $23 for 3 months, she's going to pay 10. So those savings like that can go a long way. So don't be afraid to ask us at the pharmacy for ways to save money. You don't have to be forced to go to a Good RX or a Single Care. You got to be aware that while those programs have benefits, they are selling your information and your personal information. If you're wondering why you're getting more spam phone calls or possibly more spam emails, there's a high probability that those could be coming from companies that sell your list like GoodRx. So be aware of that. Just ask us. We talked about number one tip being use a local pharmacy. Don't be afraid to ask us at the medicine center and partner with us so we can help save you money.
Excellent. So tip number 3, if you have diabetes, test regularly. Over 11% of the population has diabetes, and it can be expensive to treat and manage. Brad, can you tell our listeners why diabetes screenings are so important and how to get one?
Yes. We like to tell patients in the pharmacy that the most powerful thing you can do is know your numbers. And whether it be blood pressure or blood sugar, both of those numbers are two of the very important numbers you can know. And the good thing about getting a diabetes screening is it's just a snapshot in time and can give you an idea of how well your blood sugar is under control. And it can help you kind of see things before they get out of hand and help you make interventions that can really be important for your quality of life down the road. So it's important to get a blood sugar screening. I would recommend you do it if you do not have diabetes at least once a year, just as a benchmark to know where you stand. It's very easy. We have a number of ways to do that at the pharmacy. One of the ways is we do a screening tool called a hemoglobin A1C. And a hemoglobin A1C is a simple finger prick test. It takes about 5 minutes to perform, and it'll give you a reading that is representative of a 3-month average of what your normal blood sugar control is like. The other way we have to do a diabetes screening at the pharmacy is we also do cholesterol testing, and our cholesterol testing package for $35, you get a total cholesterol, an LDL, an HDL, and a glucose result. So for that fee, you can get a snapshot of a number of different important numbers, not only your cholesterol and how your cholesterol numbers are looking, but you can also get a blood glucose reading. And we recommend that you do that test fasting, and that will give you a more accurate reading of what your resting blood glucose is. So they're not hard to do. You can schedule either test right on our website. You can go see more information about it and what they are and how they work. You can call our pharmacy. We can slot you in at our next available appointment. The only thing that you really need to do is make sure that you fast overnight for about 12 hours, and we could do the test for you in the morning and give you the results on the spot. So you don't have to wait for labs to be mailed away to some lab out of town on these cases. You can get results right away, and we can help you share those results with your provider.
So Pay attention to your sleep. This is number 4 tip, and aim for a recommended 7 hours of sleep per night. Brad, I know that getting to sleep and staying asleep is difficult for some people. Can you share some tips for good sleep hygiene?
Yeah, this has been a very popular question in the pharmacy lately. We're all under some level of stress. It could be work, it could be family, it could be an illness. And all of those things can contribute to poor sleep, but there's some other things that can contribute to poor sleep quality also. And one of the things that I think is most important for patients to think about is you just need a good habit, a good pattern. And so simple things you can do to improve your sleep quality starting today. Be mindful of what you eat or drink after 6 p.m. Now, I'm assuming that you don't work a swing shift, so bear with me. If you work a swing shift or you work midnights, give me a call at the pharmacy and we can talk about that. But if you operate under a normal workday schedule, 9 to 5 type of thing, it'd be best if you avoid caffeine and high sugary foods after 6 o'clock at night. It's also best if you have some planning and go to bed about the same time each night. So if you have a regular bedtime ritual, like, maybe you try to be in bed every night at 11 o'clock and you're up every morning at 6:30 or 7. If you have a consistent go to sleep and a consistent rise pattern, you will have your body better trained for that rhythm to get into a more quality sleep pattern. In addition, there's some other things you can do. Believe it or not, our phones, our computers, our TVs are a little bit self-destructive when it comes to telling your brain to kind of cool down at the end of the night. There's lights emitted from those screens that kind of stimulate your nerves and whatnot, and can actually be a detriment to getting to sleep sooner. So turn off those screens and TVs about an hour before you go to bed. Practice meditation, prayer, maybe just some relaxing music. And the other thing you could do too is, use the bedroom for sleep. I guess the adage goes, sleep and sex in the bedroom. Don't watch TV in the bedroom. Don't read in your bed. Don't do activities other than when your mind and your brain sees the bed, it's time for sleep, not time to sit there and watch TV for an hour. We have some other tips we can talk about too, and maybe we'll save that for after our break.
Interesting. Okay, our first break is here. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Welcome back to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Friends, it's not too late to get a flu shot. Stop into any Medicine Center Pharmacy today. No appointment is necessary. We look forward to helping you stay healthy. So, tip number 5, Brad.
Tip number 5. Before I do tip number 5, I want to just touch on, if you're still having trouble with sleep and you've kind of cleaned up your sleep hygiene and your nightly routine, talk to us at the Medicine Center. We do have some herbal supplements that can help you promote a more healthy sleep pattern. The most common one's melatonin. And we can talk about that and if it may be right for you or not based on your medication profile. There's another option we have too that's a little bit, I guess, I don't know if stronger is the right word, but maybe a little bit more advanced, if you will. And it has a combination of melatonin and some amino acids and some herbal extracts that can help promote relaxation and restful sleep. So talk to us at the Medicine Center and we can help you with that. They're not habit forming. It would be a better solution than relying on something like an Ambien or a prescription product like that could be habit forming. So for tip 5, we were going to talk about immunizations, and immunizations are a very important part of staying healthy. Every year, thousands of people die from pneumonia and flu, and we have vaccines for those. And I guess if you want to talk about, the safety and effectiveness of vaccines, you're welcome to stop in the pharmacy and we can share some data with you. But, I know that every person I've talked to this year that did not get a flu shot, that had the flu, is definitely thinking about getting the flu shot next year because they were miserable and they lost quality time out of both work and social time that they regret. Mm-hmm. So, as far as vaccines go, your pharmacy here in the Medicine Center can be a great resource. Great, easy access. We're in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, New Philadelphia. We're open 45, 50 hours a week. You don't have to worry about fitting an appointment into your doctor. We can help you with flu vaccines. We can help you with pneumonia vaccines, shingles vaccines, COVID vaccines, Tdap vaccines. Those are some of the most common. But we can even help you with some travel vaccines. So if you're being ambitious and going out of town and out of the country, and you're traveling to an area of the world that requires some extra vaccinations based on the CDC's website, we can help you with those. So again, let's build a relationship together and work on helping you live your best life and find out what you need to stay healthy.
Okay, Brad, tip number 6, support your immune system. I know you have a list of supplements and vitamins you feel are critical to support your immune system and stay healthy. Share that information with the program, please.
There's a lot of things you can do to basically support your immune system. We already talked about good quality sleep. That's really important. A healthy diet is also important too. You want to try to minimize those fried foods and things of that nature. I like to tell people to shop on the perimeter of the grocery store where the produce and the fresh foods are, not the stuff that's been boxed up and had all the nutrients sucked out of them in the middle of the grocery store. But as far as supplements go, if you want to help make sure you balance out maybe those gaps in your diet, there's a couple things you can do that are simple, and you'll have multiple benefits, not only from health and wellness, but also for overall immune system support. Vitamin D is a real simple thing you can do. Vitamin D, we live in Ohio. Look at it today. Gray, yucky, middle of winter. We don't get a lot of sun in Ohio, enough to make enough vitamin D through our skin. So supplementing with vitamin D can be essential. There's a lot of studies out there that show that patients that have diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, Alzheimer's, other chronic conditions. I can't tell you that low vitamin D caused all those things, but I can show you data that shows that patients with chronic conditions like those have a low vitamin D level, and generally their prescribers will put them on a vitamin D supplement to bring that level up. So vitamin D is important for immune health. It's important in your body because you can't make it unless you get adequate sun on your skin. And in Ohio, that could be a challenge. So the vitamin D is a cost-effective, cheap, simple way that you can take advantage of working on your immune system. Something that I've taken every day during all of COVID is our immunity power. This is a beta-glucan product by BioSwiss. And this is something that, it's just a simple supplement that can help boost your immune system. And then if you have a cold coming on and you're looking to get through that faster, we've got a product called Empower. It is a mushroom product, a shiitake mushroom product that can give you some dietary support to help your immune system. There's a lot of research from this. It's made by American Biosciences, and we have it available in the pharmacies. It helps improve enhanced natural killer cells. So, there's ways to put your body at its advantage. A simple multivitamin is also something you can do. It doesn't have to be, high tech like some of these immune supplements, but a simple multivitamin and some vitamin D would put you at odds for supporting your immune system over and above what your normal dietary intake would provide.
Okay. Tip number 7, follow your doctor's directions, especially as it relate to taking your medicine.
There was an attorney or a physician that mentioned that medications don't work if you don't take them. I know we have patients at times who are concerned about how many medications they take, and they get intimidated by doctors' regimens when you have a patient that takes 2 or 3 or even 4 or 5 medications. It can be a lot to keep track of, especially if medications are once a day, one's twice a day, one's 3 times a day. So we've got a couple solutions to help patients with that, to simplify their overall medication profile. One of the things that we've been actively doing is to make sure patients have what medications they need when they need them. And one of the ways to do that is to help schedule your medication pickup. Not unlike when you'd schedule an appointment to go to a doctor, get your eyes checked, maybe have your annual physical. If we can schedule when you're going to come in to get your prescriptions picked up, or when you're going to have home delivery, we can help make sure that we have all your medication refills lined up for you. We can help make sure we have all the medications in stock for you. And I got to tell you that lately, with the supply chain issues that you may be seeing at your grocery store or your auto parts store, there are medication supply chain issues in the United States. So it's more important than ever that we work with you and we work with you on our care plan to make sure that we have you set up for a scheduled date so we can make sure we have everything lined up and in stock. We also have options for you for medication packaging. You don't have to suffer with a whole bunch of pill bottles. We have some nice solutions that are really convenient, like our easy dose packs. These are something that you can put in your particular medication regimen. And it's something that we put all your little medications in a baggie. And these baggies are dated and timed for the particular time of day. So in this example, I've got patient medication that is, this one's for 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. So this particular person in this example takes medication twice a day. And you know, they can tear off these baggies. And if they're going out to lunch with their friends, they can just take these 2 baggies with them. And they don't have to worry about taking all their bottles or taking a little pill box or having it open up and spill in your purse. So whether you're traveling on vacation or just traveling to the office or your work environment, something like this could be a nice solution. Keeps all your medications organized. It tells you on them what time of day to take them and what medications are in the bag. And I think it's been a real solution for patients that are frustrated and trying to manage multiple medications.
Interesting. How about managing your chronic conditions? We talked about diabetes earlier, but all chronic conditions require maintenance. Is there anything you want to add here, Brad?
Well, since we're close to the news break, I think what I'll add is, you know, all your healthcare conditions are important. And you know, I touched on blood pressure earlier in the program. And knowing your numbers, it's really important that you know your blood pressure level. It seems like it's something that's inconsequential because they kind of call it the silent killer, if you will, because you can be walking around right now and not know your blood pressure is high. You know, maybe you get some dizziness or some headaches, but usually it can be elevated and you don't even know it. So once again, you know, it's an opportunity to get a blood pressure screening. You know, we can test your blood pressure at the pharmacy. It's not hard. It takes a couple minutes. But it's something that can give you a lot of power and keep you informed of what your options are. So don't be afraid to talk to your provider or your pharmacist. Don't be afraid to ask questions and offer how you're feeling, or, you know, to get these healthcare screenings. Knowledge is power. And the more you know about high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes in advance, the better off you'll be in the long run, so you can make adjustments before you find out that it's difficult to make those adjustments.
Okay. It is the bottom of the hour. Time for the news. Thanks for joining us this morning on Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Welcome back to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I'm your host and pharmacist, Paul White. This morning, we're sharing our new drug savings program. Stop in and learn how to save on your prescriptions. We have a lot more to cover this morning, so let's get back to the show. So, Brad, tip number 9, education. Make sure you understand your medication. So, excuse me, make sure you understand your medication, what it is for, how to use it, and if there are any special directions. Many of the patients that come into our stores just sometimes don't really understand what the med's supposed to do. So can you share some examples and some tips for our listeners?
Absolutely. And I think to add to that point, if you watch TV at all, you'll see that the drug companies go out of their way to come up with some of the goofiest names that are impossible to pronounce, impossible to spell, and difficult to remember. It can be an added challenge for patients to even try to keep track of their medication. You know, one of the things we often get asked for in the pharmacy to start is a medication list. And we've made a nice form in our pharmacy system where we can print out a nice list that you could fold up and put in your wallet or your purse so that you always have your list of medications there with you. And that could be the first stepping stone to understanding and having a good system. especially when you go to see your doctor or your provider. You can whip out that list and you can show them all the medications you're taking. But we do frequently get patients that ask questions and say, like, or make comments that the doctor put me on this new prescription, but I'm not going to take it. I don't know why he gave it to me. And it might be something for blood pressure, or it might be something for diabetes. And, I think on many levels, depending on what state we're in, we think that we're tough. We can handle it. We don't need this. We don't need help. But, things like blood pressure and diabetes takes a lot of discipline to make lifestyle modifications that include exercise and diet and weight control. And that's great. And those are all important, but it's also important that you make sure that you take your medication as needed while you're taking that journey. We've had patients that come in that take their diabetes medications or their blood pressure medications, and they're able to lose 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. And you know what happens? The doctor reduces the medication, or maybe they get off of one of those medications. And that's a win-win for the patient and the provider and the pharmacy, because that patient is setting themselves up for better health. But not understanding what your medication's for, not knowing when to take it, not knowing what happens if you miss a dose. Like, do you know what to do if you forgot to take your medication for thyroid this morning that you should have taken at 7 a.m. and now it's almost 9:30? What do? Well, you give us a call at the pharmacy and we help you find a solution. Sometimes it's a simple solution. Sometimes it's a little more complex. A question we get once a week, if not more, in the pharmacy is usually from a young woman who's taking birth control pills and they forgot to take their birth control pill today. What do? Over Valentine's weekend, that could have been a real problem if you didn't know what to do. So those kind of things are important. Again, the pharmacy can be your greatest resource for medication information. Don't be afraid to discuss those questions with your pharmacist. And, a lot of those tablets look the same. One of the things that we haven't talked about on Health Matters in a while is we do have an app for iPhone and Google phones where you can download our Medicine Center Pharmacy app, and it'll put all your medications that you have active in our system on your phone, and you can see images of the pills or the capsules and the numbers on the pills and the capsules. So if you maybe you put your pills in a pill box and you can't remember what the little white pill is with the 7 on it, you can look at your app. I mean, you can call us at the pharmacy, don't get me wrong, but if it's 10 o'clock at night, you can look at your iPhone app or your Android app, and you can look at our app and see what that little white pill is and remove that question without having to go Googling and hope you find the right item.
And Brad, as you know, so many pills look alike. Same size, perhaps white or blue or whatever. Capsules, a different story. But tablets are really, sometimes it's impossible to tell the difference between 2 or 3 meds. So
it is really hard. And the white ones, especially, you're not kidding. And some of the tablets are so small that it's difficult, depending on your quality of eyesight, for you to even see little numbers stamped in the tablet. But yeah, the white ones in particular can be a real challenge.
There's another issue too with some of the pills, and that's swallowing them easily. I do take one particular med, and it isn't coated. It's a dry coat pill, and it is, even though it's small, it's difficult to swallow. So drink plenty of water. Make sure you get that pill down, or capsules, of course, too, down your throat, and not let them linger in your throat. So, and some of the pills are so tiny, you don't even know if you swallowed the darn thing. So keep an eye, keep your mind set, and drink plenty of water. Okay. Tip number 10, enjoy life. That's a great tip.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we have patients that working in a pharmacy is an interesting environment because we get to know a lot of our patients, and we also get to celebrate victories with them, but also kind of be there for support in times of challenges. So, On any given day, we'll have a patient come into the pharmacy that was just diagnosed with diabetes. And, I can't tell you how many patients have come in absolutely terrified, learning that from their doctor, and are don't know what to do, scared to death, worried about what it means for the future. So, when you have a situation like that, it's a setback, but it's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to kind of, look at your overall health and wellness, and make some decisions. And, maybe we can give you some education at the pharmacy to help you. There's a lot of healthcare resources out there. I mentioned diabetes offhand because that's a common one we see a lot in the pharmacy. But, there's resources like, diabetes educators at Altman Hospital that can help you with education and help provide you an advantage to make sure that you understand how your food, exercise, and weight affect your overall blood sugar health. There's other things to do too, though. Hopefully our weather's going to turn here pretty soon. Don't be afraid to take advantage of the beautiful days when we finally get them, or the warmer days. And just, even if you're not a big exerciser, you don't have to go to the gym. Take a walk around the block. Do some leg lifts on your chair in your family room or something. Any little bit of movement and exercise can keep your joints healthy and can keep you going. Talk to your doctor and find out what would be the best thing for you. But don't fail to celebrate the successes every day. We all have challenges every day. It could be the weather, it could be a frustrating work situation, it could be a frustrating health situation. But you got to find something good every day to celebrate.
Okay.
All right, so those were our top 10 tips, but we got a couple other things we can throw in here too. And a lot of things one of the things that's really interesting to me is that, Dad, you've been a pharmacist for over 50 years. Can you tell our listeners why you chose to be a pharmacist and ultimately why you opened your own pharmacy?
Well, um, well, I don't know what it's like in high school nowadays, but we had aptitude tests back when I was a senior in high school, and my testing came out #1 chemistry professor and #2 pharmacist. And I thought, that's really interesting. My father always wanted to be a pharmacist, but the family did not have the money to send him to college during the Depression. So he ended up being like his father, a metallurgist, and ended up working in mills all his life. Um, Opening my own pharmacy, that was something when I graduated from college that I never thought I would do. And I enjoyed being a pharmacist, but a couple of the reasons that I opened my own pharmacy were that this is kind of funny. Lottery tickets came into play into the stores, and the lottery tickets were to be sold in the pharmacy in the organization that I worked for. And it just was almost a constant battle when they came out with the quick win tickets. So I got some information from Medicine Shop and kind of like their concept. And that's how we got started in 1976. Initial first year was a struggle. But after that, we grew and grew, and now we have 4 stores. We have a nursing home division also, and we're doing a lot of things in pharmacy. And Brad just mentioned many of them that were never within a pharmacy many years ago, like flu shots and testing, lab testing, things, all those things. So that really has kind of got me stuck there. And then here's Brad, my son. He came along, became a pharmacist through no encouragement of my own, because my father, all of my career, all of my younger days, said, I'm going to make you a pharmacist so I can be your stock boy in your drugstore. And I thought, well, that's further an interesting way to put it. But anyway, I did it, and here we are today. It is actually close to 50 years, I guess, that I've been a pharmacist. So still running around, folks. I can still talk to you and I can still help you. So next question.
I think we